What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC 277. We have Juliana Pena going against Amanda Nunes 2.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another betting breakdown video. This week breaking down a very good pay-per-view card. We have two title fights up top, a fire main card pay-per-view. Looking forward to that. The prelims a little bit iffy, but I think they're going to be fun. So looking forward to it from a betting perspective. I do have 10 bets on the card, 5 of them being plus money. We'll be talking about all of those and much, much more. Before we get started, I do have a very special announcement to make. I did want to make this announcement on my prediction video on Monday, but was not quite there yet. The special announcement is, in the year of 2022, I have lost 100 pounds, something I really wanted to do throughout the year and was finally able to hit that goal a couple days ago. If you don't believe me, I did post a couple before and afters on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also going to link down a video from last December. But yeah, it's crazy what consistency and hard work can do. I think it was like 7 or 8 very tough months, was able to complete my goal, and I feel great. I do want to say thank you to all the support. Thank you to all the people that gave me motivation. You're calling me Jake Collier and stuff. That stuff really helped me. So do appreciate all that, and I'm excited. I'm excited about hitting this goal. It's something I've really worked towards. So I know some of you probably don't care, but I just wanted to bring that up there. But as far as this card goes, going to be breaking it down from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you do want a further in-depth breakdown of why I like which fighter and why I'm betting what, I did do a prediction video on Monday, and then also a live stream on Friday, and then I'm going live 2 hours prior to the prelims. It's me, Uncle Weezy, Eric Betts Fights, and Lou Betcha. We're going to do a 2-hour special, break down the card for about an hour, hour and a half, and I'll be spending the last 30 minutes talking up with you, getting ready for this pay-per-view card. So with that said, leave a like, subscribe, and I say we get into it right now. We'll start with the very first fight of the night. Orion Cosce going against Blood Diamond. Cosce did miss weight. He did not look great, which is a very big concern considering his game plan is to come out here and wrestle and do it for 15 minutes or up until getting a finish here. So, Cosce at minus 200 now, especially after the weigh-ins, I'm not loving it. I do think he wins this fight. I do think he gets to finish, and I do think it's early on. But if this fight does get extended, the weight cut seriously concerns me. I think violence is the answer here, and for some reason, Bovada did have the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 185 earlier in the week. I wasn't going to play this fight, but I had to jump on that for one unit. I don't want to go too deep into this fight, just a very low-level fight that I want to stay away from. Now the fight doesn't go to decisions around like minus 240, minus 260. At that point, maybe it could be a parlay piece, especially after the weight miss for Cosce and how bad he looked, but maybe look at the under 2.5 as well. I think violence is the answer here, if anything, but yeah, I would not be betting Orion Cosce at minus 200, I'll say that. So I do have a unit on the fight, doesn't go minus 185, but of course that line is just far gone. I'm not sure why it was there in the first place. Moving on, we have Pantoja going against Nikolai Negumereanu. This is a fight that I really shouldn't be betting on, and I do have a bet on this fight. It's a very small bet. Kind of missed the Negumereanu line earlier in the week. He opened up at like plus 170, which is nuts, and a lot of people are on him. I think a lot of people are trying to fade Eor here, and rightfully so. You take a look at this guy's record, and obviously he's not fought the best level of competition, but he is powerful. He is very dangerous. A sneaky angle I took on this fight, and again, I went very light on it. I don't want to have a ton of exposure on a fight like this, and I'm definitely not betting Negumereanu at minus 120, I'll tell you that. At plus 150, plus 140, even plus 130, absolutely, but kind of missed the boat on that. The bet that I have is a quarter unit on the fight ending in KO at plus 100, even money. So the fight doesn't go to decision is minus 200. There could be a sub. I mean, both guys have submissions on their record, but again, against really low-level guys, I'd be shocked if there's like an arm bar from guard here, a heel hook, some of the subs they're getting outside the UFC. I think they're going to stand in the middle and bang with no striking defense involved. Negumereanu has like a 38% striking defense. Eor Bateria thus far, and there's only a couple minutes in his fight, but 32% striking defense. Both of these guys have no striking defense. Both of these guys have a ton of power, and both these guys are going to throw down. Plus 100, fight ending by KO is the shot I wanted to take, but again, I don't want to be overly exposed to this fight, so therefore I only put a quarter unit. I feel like a quarter unit is appropriate for a fight like this. Next, we have Jocelyn Edwards going against Jian Kim. And as you guys know, If you guys have been watching me, I did go into retirement in terms of betting low-level fights like these. I actually came out of retirement last week for Victoria Leonardo. That was a one-time thing. I am going back into retirement. There is no way I'm betting on this fight. Jocelyn Edwards missed weight. She had that blue hair, which I don't like. This is a close fight. It's going to go to decision. It's going to be probably a split decision. I mean, I see a lot of people very confident on either side. I don't think you should be. You have Jocelyn Edwards, who has really good leg kicks. I think those could come into play. And then you have Jeon Kim, who misses a ton. She has like a 38% striking accuracy. It was like 32 before she fought Priscilla Cachoeira, who blocks punches with her face. So you're going to get Jeon Kim, who's punching air. Jocelyn Edwards, who's doing a bunch of kicks. What are the judges going to favor? I don't know. And this is not a fight I'm betting. So good luck to anybody that is betting this fight. There is nothing that I would even think about betting on it. Easy pass. Michael Morales going against Adam Fugit. This is another fight that's just unbettable. I like Morales. I've had some people hitting me up saying, is Morales a good parlay piece? And, not really. Minus 650. I think, there's a lot of hype on this guy, and rightfully so. He's only 23 years old. Seems like the real deal, but minus 650. I mean, this is a fight at the end of the day, and, Fugit is very dangerous. Fugit, some knockout power he shut off in his last fight with the first round knockout. Has a good submission game as well. And, Morales, the one knock on him, I'd say, is that striking defense. He is very hittable, so that could be a concern. But, I think Morales wins this fight. I think he wins inside the distance. I think he probably wins in the very first round. But, again, these props aren't bettable. You don't want to lay minus 200 on Morales inside the distance. You don't want to lay minus 135 on his knockout prop. And even Morales in the first round is only like plus 150. So I like Morales. I'm confident in Morales, but there's not much you can do with the minus 650 favorite here. Next, we have Jakar Close going against Rafa Garcia. I actually like Close, quite a bit in this fight here. Jakar Close has fought the much better competition, and it's really not even close here. No pun intended. Rafa Garcia is taking a big step up here, and not only a big step up in competition, but a big step up in competition on short notice. I mean, there's a big difference between Jesse Ronson, Chris Kreutzmacher, to go into a guy like Jakar Close, who has really good wins on his record and really good losses as well. Jakar Close, I feel like he's going to stuff the majority of the takedowns here. I feel like Garcia probably does get some takedowns early on. Is he going to hold down Jakar Close? I really don't think so. I think Close's takedown defensive get-up game is good enough to keep it on the feet for the majority of the fight. And when it is on the feet, it's going to be Jakar Close for me all day. I'm not overly concerned about a Rafa Garcia knockout. I think he only has like one knockout in his entire career. A bunch of submissions. I don't see him submitting Close. I see this going to decision. The bet I have here is Jakar Close to win in round 3 or decision on FanDuel Sportsbook. Minus 120, 1.2 units. I think the decision is most likely here. So if you want to play Jakar by decision at plus money, go for it, I believe. But if Rafa Garcia does come in here and slow down, like he did in the Kreutzmacher fight, like he did in the Hack-Paras fight, which was also on short notice. He's coming in here on short notice. If he does slow down, I want to just cover that round 3. So I like Jakar Close, minus 120, 1.2 units for him to win in either round 3 or decision. Moving on to the people's main event, we have Dontel Mays going against Hamdi Abdulwahab, and I probably have too much money on this fight. I have a half a unit on Dontel Mays to win inside the distance at plus 130, and then I doubled down on Dontel Mays to win inside the distance at plus 150 there. So a total 1 unit on Dontel Mays winning and winning inside the distance. Would have loved to get Dontel Mays earlier in the week at plus money. He was like plus 115, and I didn't look into the fight at that point. I wish I did. Now he's minus 200, and people are taking a look at Hamdi. They're watching the tape. They're looking at his record. They're seeing that he's fought literally nobody. The worst level of competition I've ever seen since I've started doing this. And even you watch him against this low-level competition, he's just not impressive. His wrestling's really good. He has Olympic wrestling background, but, the top control is non-existent. He's sloppy on the mat. Not much to offer on the feet in terms of technique. He's winging bombs, but, is that going to work at this level against a much bigger, 6'6" Dontel Mays? I don't think so. I think Dontel Mays has him covered everywhere. Dontel Mays, I think he knocks him out at some point in this fight. I think Hamdi may have success early, but coming in here on short notice against a much bigger Dontel Mays, I think he will slow down as the fight goes on. I think Mays eventually gets him out of there. Mays inside the distance, half a unit plus 130, and then also a half a unit at plus 150. Probably a little bit too much for a low-level heavyweight fight like this, but if Mays doesn't finish this guy or even beat this guy, he should be absolutely ashamed of himself. So give me Mays inside the distance here for this fight. Drew Dober going against Rafael Alves here. We have Dober minus 170, Alves plus 145. A lot of love on Alves, and I get it. I mean, this guy is exciting. He's dangerous. Drew Dober has been finished 5 times, 4 by submission, and he's going to be very live in that first round. The play I have here is the fight doesn't go to decision. I got it at minus 170. I have 1.7 units on that. The reason being is, both these guys are finishers. Drew Dober, a 71% finish rate. Alves, a 75% finish rate, and both these guys can absolutely be finished. Alves has been finished 9 times. 9 out of 10 losses, Alves has been finished. The one time he did lose by decision was against Damir Ismagulov, and Damir doesn't finish anybody. So I like this fight to finish. I am on the Dober side, but Alves is definitely going to have opportunities. He hits like a truck, and if this fight does hit the mat, Drew Dober has struggled with that submission defense. So instead of picking a side here or betting a side, I would lean towards that fight doesn't go. I think it covers both sides. I think it covers Alves early, or Dober could be early as well. But if the fight does get extended, I heavily do favor him. So fight doesn't go. 1.7 units, minus 170. I'm moving up to the feature prelim. Matt Semelsberger going against Alex Moreno. Yeah, nothing here for me from a betting perspective. I do think this fight will play out fairly close. I like the volume of Moreno. I like the power of Matthew Semelsberger. I do lean towards this going to decision. I think we're kind of overrating Semelsberger's power a little bit. He went out there and knocked out Jason Witt. Went out there and knocked out Martin Sano. Very questionable, knockout wins. But we can't deny he doesn't have power. He does. But, Alex Moreno only been dropped twice in the UFC, once by Nico Price, once by Chaos Williams. I think Moreno's chin does hold up here. I think he puts up a good account for himself. I'm going to say the fight goes to decision, if anything, in this fight. But I don't have a bet on it. I'm going to sit back and watch this one. Should be a fun one. But the fight goes to decision around like minus 150 is where I would look. Next, we have the main card opener. We have Magomed Ankalaev going against Anthony Smith, and I'm going a little contrarian here. So, a lot of people are on Ankalaev, and rightfully so. I am as well. A lot of people are on Ankalaev decision, and rightfully so. That's what he does. I'm not a big fan of Magomed Ankalaev. I'm not a big fan of his style. Can't deny he's good though. He's very good. I'm just not a big fan of the guy. But Anthony Smith, his fights finish inside the distance. A 92% finish rate for Anthony Smith. He's been finished in 13 of 16 losses. And Anthony Smith isn't going to go in there and have a technical 3-round fight with not a lot going on like, some of these Ankalaev fights have been, right? Like, Anthony Smith is going to push the action, is what I think. He's going to kind of draw Ankalaev into a fight, Like, Ankalaev's last fight against Santos was horrible. They both just looked at each other. The Uzumir fight was terrible. They both just, for the most part, looked at each other. This is a fight where I don't think Anthony Smith is going to go out there and just look at Ankalaev for 3 rounds. I think he's going to make this a fight, and if he does, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for Ankalaev to finish. Anthony Smith is very hittable. Anthony Smith has been knocked out 9 times. Ankalaev is super dangerous, and I do think Anthony Smith is going to force him to kind of fight here, and I think Ankalaev does finish Anthony Smith. On the flip side, if Anthony Smith does win this fight, it's going to be inside the distance. Ankalaev's been finished in his only loss against Paul Craig, and again, Anthony Smith is a 92% finish rate, which is one of the best finish rates on the entire card. So going a little bit contrarian here. Fight doesn't go to decision. Half a unit, plus 100. I'm banking on Anthony Smith to make this a fight. All right, next we have Alexander Pantoja going against Alex Perez. I do have a bet here. Something I circled, once I was breaking down this card, was the scorecards equals no action, the finish only. FanDuel calls it decision no bet for Alexander Pantoja. This guy is as tough as they come. 5 losses, all 5 of them by decision. Never been submitted, and Alex Perez, he's not submitting Pantoja. Never been knocked out, not even by Davison Figueiredo. He's fought some really good guys and has never been finished. He's fought dangerous guys like a Brandon Royval, like Brandon Moreno, guys like that. He's never been finished. Alexander Pantoja is as tough as they come. On the flip side, we have Alex Perez, who has been finished. He's been finished in 5 of 6 losses, 4 by sub, and 1 by knockout. So I like the scorecards equals no action for Alexander Pantoja. If you guys are new here, that means if the fight goes to decision, the bet is voided. If Pantoja wins inside the distance, the bet hits. And then if Perez is the first one to finish Pantoja, the bet loses. So I got it at minus 160. I put 1.6 units on it. FanDuel actually had it at minus 152 for a while. As far as I'm concerned, that line is still there. So I guess I jumped the gun a little bit. But yeah, FanDuel is hanging like a minus 152 for the decision no bet. I'd be very, very surprised if Perez finishes Pantoja. If he did, it's probably a knockout, and I don't see it. As far as the fight playing out, though, I think it will be close. I think it will be competitive. If it does go to decision, I think Perez is super live. But if there's a finish in this fight, you got to believe it's going to be Pantoja. A lot of people are on the Pantoja by sub. I get it. Perez has been submitted 4 times. Pantoja's ground game is no joke. If you like Alex Perez, I would take a look at Alex Perez by decision, which is around plus 300 or better. But I am picking Pantoja to win this fight. I do think I'll lock up the submission at some point. But yeah, I do like that scorecards equals no action. 1.6 units, minus 160 there. All right, next we have Sergey Pavlovich going against Derek Lewis. Yeah, I mean, this fight's going to go either way. I don't necessarily agree with the money pouring in on Pavlovich here. Pavlovich is like minus 145. I am going to pick Pavlovich to win. I like the fact that he's younger, he's bigger. This guy's like a 5-inch reach advantage. He's so powerful, and both guys are. Both of these guys are live to knock each other out. I do have a bet on this fight. I don't feel great about it, but I do feel great about the odds I got. So it made no sense to me, right? Like Pavlovich is minus 145, minus 140. His knockout prop was sitting on BetOnline at plus 130. So I took a half unit on the Pavlovich knockout. I could even put a half unit on Derek Lewis straight or Derek Lewis by knockout as well to kind of hedge. But I'm going to ride it. I'm going to say Pavlovich does knock out Derek Lewis and does it in the very first round. Pavlovich, 12 knockouts, all 12 of them in the very first round. So if you like Pavlovich, instead of laying the minus 145, laying chalk on him, you might as well just bet him to win by knockout, which is, plus money, plus 115, plus 125 I see. But yeah, I did get that knockout prop at plus 130 there. And if you like Derek Lewis, probably the same thing. Derek Lewis, probably you want to bet him straight. You could bet him by knockout as well. I think I saw the knockout prop at plus 175 on a book. I'd be fairly surprised if this fight did go to decision. Am I going to lay minus 600 on the fight doesn't go? No. I mean, could they just stare at each other for 3 rounds? I suppose, but I do think these guys are going to throw down. Both these guys have a ton of power. Both these guys can be knocked out. Derek Lewis knocked out 6 times. I'm going to say Pavlovich knocks him out, but my bet is a half unit on the Pavlovich KO, plus 130. Brandon Moreno, Kai France. Yeah, no bet for me here in the co-main event. I kind of lean towards the overs, but I'm not really running to the window for any of those. I was kind of leaning towards the finish only or the scorecards equals no action for Brandon Moreno, but they're kind of all over that, especially now. It was like minus 200. I thought that was solid. I think it's like minus 2 something now, just not even playable. But yeah, I just think this fight's going to play out a little bit closer than people think. The first fight, is clear Brandon Moreno win, but Kai France did have a lot of success early, and I do think Brandon Moreno should be favored in this fight. But I think Kai France can give him some problems here early. I think the striking's going to be very close and competitive for the most part, and I don't know if Brandon Moreno's going to be able to get the fight down to the mat. Kai France, elite takedown defense. He showed it off in his last fight, and in the first fight, Brandon Moreno didn't even attempt 1 takedown. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be exciting, but nothing is sticking out to me, honestly, from a betting perspective. Like I said, maybe the overs, but even then, those kind of scare me away. So it's a pass from a betting perspective, but there's no doubt about it that I'm definitely going to watch this fight and definitely going to enjoy it. Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena. Nunes minus 265, Pena plus 225, and there's a lot of tough fights to call on the entire card, but this is probably one of the tougher fights to call on the entire card for me. And Nunes is a minus 265 favorite, which is weird considering a lot of people are on Juliana Pena, and I get why. I get why people would like both sides here. If Amanda Nunes shows up, she's 110%, she's motivated, she's ready to go, I think she walks through Juliana Pena. I think she's better in every single aspect of MMA, besides maybe durability, cardio. But other than that, I mean, she's the better striker, she's the better wrestler, the better grappler. She's better everywhere. You take a look at the numbers, and all the numbers back that up. And you go watch the tape, and all the tape backs that up. I was not impressed with Juliana Pena, prior to the Nunes fight. But I guess it comes down to this. Is Nunes ready to go? She had a lot of excuses after her last fight. Were they legit excuses? I don't know. We're definitely going to find out. But I just don't have enough confidence in. I wouldn't, even if I did have confidence in Nunes here, I would not be laying minus 265 on her in this fight. I do have a bet here. I really like the fight doesn't go to decision in this fight. I know a lot of people are on the overs. The overs are a lock. I don't necessarily agree. I think if Nunes does show up and she's ready to go, I think she's very live in that first round. You take a look at Nunes' finishes at the bantamweight division, and all but one of them come in the very first round. One comes in the 5th round. So I think Nunes is live for that first round finish. if the fight gets out of the first round, we could potentially see a replay of last fight. I don't think there's going to be a filling out process. I've heard a lot of people say that. I don't think that's going to be a thing. It'd be a mistake for Juliana Pena to go out there and make this a feeling out process. That'd be a very, very big mistake for Juliana Pena to do. She needs to go out there. She needs to push the pace, get in Nunes' face right away, make this a war, make this a dogfight. And if she does that, we could potentially see Nunes break again. So I like the fight doesn't go to decision. I like some of these unders, under 4.5, under 3.5. I wouldn't touch the under 2.5. I could see this getting at least over 2.5 rounds. And if it does, I do favor Pena potentially, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, this is a weird fight, but I do like the finish here in this fight. Nunes, 81% finish rate. Pena, 73% finish rate. Nunes finished in 4 or 5 losses. Pena finished in 3 of 4 losses as well. And then you take a look at the, on probability, me and Uncle Weezer were talking about the finish rate for the 5-round women's bantamweight fights, and that finish rate is 81%, which comes out to over minus 400. These women's bantamweight fights, they finish more often than not. So we're getting it around minus 230, minus 225. I did lay 2.25 units to lay one, or to win one. For the fight doesn't go to decision, minus 225. Instead of picking a side here, betting a side, I'm going to take the fight doesn't go. I don't know if I can trust Amanda Nunes. So I'm going to quickly recap my action here. 10 bets, 5 of them plus money. The scorecards equals no action. For Pantoja, minus 161.6 units. Like I said, you can get that at a better line on FanDuel. Dober, Alves, fight doesn't go to decision. 1.7 units, minus 170. Kosi, Blood Diamond, fight doesn't go to decision. Minus 185, 1 unit. Pavlov by KO, half a unit, plus 130. Close wins in round 3 or decision, 1.2 units, minus 120. Mays wins inside the distance, half a unit on plus 130, and then half a unit on plus 150. The fight doesn't go to decision. Ankalaev Smith, plus 100. The fight ending in KO for the Negamariano Pantoja fight, quarter unit, plus 100. And then 2.25 units on the fight doesn't go to decision in the main event at minus 225. Thank you all so much for watching. It means a lot. Leave a like on the way out. Subscribe. Check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. And check out Best Bet. 2 hours prior to the prelims, we're going to go through, give our best bet for each and every fight in the card. And then I'll spend the last 30 to 45 minutes chatting it up with the chat, answering any questions, and just talking, getting ready for the pay-per-view card tomorrow. So that's about it, guys. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you very soon. See ya.